Hey everybody, it's Ben Story with Relationship Solutions, and I'm glad to be sitting here today with a good friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine. His name is Chance Scoggins. He is a certified life and business coach from Nashville, Tennessee. He specializes in work with creatives, with artists, with people in the music industry, but also with entrepreneurs and people working to make significant changes in their career, maybe going from one industry to another. Um, those major career change things that happen from time to time when there's a national global pandemic, when you find yourself quarantined and unemployed. So Chance, welcome. I'm glad to see you.
Thank you. It's great. So great to be here, buddy.
How's Nashville, Tennessee?
It's probably a lot like it is there. People are nervous, people are scared, and people are tired of being home.
Very tired of being home. I heard that Nashville had kind of an informal campaign that we're going to stay home to protect Dolly Parton.
Oh my God. I have not heard that, but you know what? If there's any reason to stay home, it's to protect Dolly Parton.
And if anybody knows, yes, and if anybody knows, my daughter Eva is a huge fan of Dolly Parton, and so we also are all for protecting Dolly and
we love her. She's the best.
Yeah. So we kind of decided to do this conversation because number one, we just want to offer hope and encouragement to people that are out there. And I know that the people that you work with are facing a lot of the similar struggles that we're facing around here when it just comes to life as we know it stopping suddenly. And then we're having to all have learning how to pivot, I guess. And it's probably very common in Tennessee, like it is in Arkansas, for fear to be present, for people to be struggling.
100%. So, I mean, as soon as everything went on lockdown, all the tours got canceled overnight. So not just the artists, but everybody traveling with an artist and people at labels and people at management companies, like everybody's world just got turned upside down. And all of people who aren't creative, even just my other people that are in completely different businesses, they experience the same thing. I experienced a cut in my revenue, and everybody is operating understandably from a place of fear right now because we don't know what the future holds, and that was even more true a month ago.
Yeah, and that fear can be paralyzing, right? I mean,
yeah. That's what the brain, better than I. And actually, you know what? I would love for you to tell people, like, when you feel that fear, what's going on in the brain?
Not much, actually. The blood flow in your body changes whenever you connect with fear and anxiety. And so, when blood flow leaves the brain and moves to the extremities, because we begin that fight or flight response, it makes it harder to be curious. It makes it harder to brainstorm and come up with solutions and be creative. And so when we are flooded with fear, that is not our best moment to solve problems. Yeah.
Yes, and I experience, and I always get to, clients experiencing shutdown. Like whatever I'm afraid will happen, even if I'm trying to solve my problem, I'm scared of whatever proposed solution I'm gonna have. And inevitably it leads to me just wanting to sit down and on the couch and watch Netflix and eat some, potato chips.
Yeah.
Because I can count on that bag.
So it's not just fight or flight, it's fight, freeze, or flight, right? There are times where we're so overwhelmed, we don't do either thing. We have that deer in headlights response where we just don't move. We don't take action at all.
Right. And that's really normal. If anybody's experiencing that, I would just want you to know that you're not the only one. You might be the only one who's talking about it, but everybody's experiencing it on some level, and that's normal and it's okay. But fear is just the worst. It will cripple you and it will do so much damage. So even though it's normal, we can't stay there. We have to find a way out.
Right. And so tell me a little bit about what you do with your clients, with the people that you're guiding through situations just like this. How do you help them when that fear gets paralyzing for them?
Well, yeah. I think there are a lot of tools out there for processing through fear, and probably people have those, but for the sake of time, or can get to those outside of me, but for the sake of time, I want to say, whatever your situation is right now, you have the opportunity for that fear to become an opportunity. Instead, you can pivot to something. The thing that I know for sure in all this is that things that we told ourselves 2 months ago, I can't do so and so, I can't try this because I have to so and so, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
All these things that we had to do for the last month, nobody's been doing any of them. So the pressure that you felt from a schedule standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from people depending on you standpoint, it all just fell apart. None of us did any of that for the last month, and the world is still turning, and our hearts are still beating. We're all still here, and if there's a lesson to learn there, it's that, hey, we have been choosing stress. We have been choosing to sit still underneath the weight of our responsibility. And the good news is here, everything's up for grabs. On the other side of this, life does not have to look like, first of all, it can't look like, and it doesn't have to look like what we thought it had to look like before. So I actually work with my clients trying to find, like, what is the new, unique opportunity through this pandemic that we didn't have before? What does this make possible that wasn't true before?
I love that. So it's almost like you're just taking one pair of glasses off that say, this is scary and frightening, and this is a threat to my safety or my future, putting another pair of glasses on that says, because everything is shaken up, there's opportunity here for growth, for success, for new adventures, new opportunities. Yeah.
Right, because look, people were furloughed, people were fired, people, if you're self-employed like me, you're just overnight, your business, took some sort of hit. Everybody, we all experience that. So it's a common experience, and that is scary.
Yeah.
But faith chooses, even though this might feel true, faith chooses to see something else. And if we take a moment and just ask ourselves, what does this make possible? There's always an answer. And usually it's a pretty cool one. Like, I have a client, I have a music industry client whose tour was completely canceled. So revenue through the foreseeable future, gone, right? So all of these artists are now pivoting to things online. They're considering things that they can do online. One, to serve, two, to support their teams. Like, they have these huge teams they have to pay for. And everybody's getting creative. They had no need to be creative and to think outside the box. And now that's there. Same thing, some business people that are financial planners, and I have a dentist, and just any place where people go to, things have shifted. And so now we just go, okay, well, what can we do instead? And there's always a cool answer on the other side of that.
I was listening to, are you familiar with Mel Robbins? She's
yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so she said that the way our brain responds to fear and the way it responds to excitement is almost, maybe is identical, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm looking at this opportunity, like what the future holds. I can see it as frightening or terrifying, but I can also look at it as this great adventure, this moment where I get to hit the reset button, and things that were once not a possibility for me, they are now, right?
Yeah, and that sounds a little bit like, I know someone listening is going, that sounds so nice, I wish that I could, but you don't understand. Yeah. I get that. Listen, friend, the reset button has been pushed. It was pushed for you. You didn't have to choose it. So the thing is, like, you get to choose where we go from here. And I'm experiencing it. My wife is experiencing. Everybody on my street, we're all going through the same thing. So I would just say, like, look at it fresh, and put everything on the table and choose it again. If you want to go back to that same job where you were just laid off, maybe without pay or half pay or whatever, all the things that you said, I have to so-and-so because I have these financial obligations. Yes, but look what you've done over the last month. Somehow you made it. And someone out there, not everybody, someone's going to choose to go back to their job, but this is the opportunity for you to say, okay, I didn't even need to be in that place anyway. That's not what I needed to be doing. So let's take this fresh start that was handed to me. I didn't choose, and let's make the most of it.
So we can look at this as a gift. This is a gift. This is an opportunity. And, I was talking with somebody this week, just reconsidering what extracurricular activities for our children we want to put them back into,
Right.
because maybe we don't want to fill our calendar quite as full as it was before.
Well,
Maybe.
so, yeah, my thought before was I'm not a good parent unless I have my kids and all these things to expose them to all these. That's what good parents do.
Yeah.
Well, now we realize good parents sit down and do a puzzle with their kids. We play a board game, we play tag. We do different things, and they're still thriving.
And even as we're talking, like I'm thinking, Tanya had remarked several times since this has started, our girls get along better than they ever have before. We have
Wow.
seen them bond, and something happened along the way, and our youngest, who is 8, thinks our 16-year-old hung the moon. I mean, she copies her, she dresses like her, she's fixing her hair like her. Something happened, and it was a beautiful thing that came out of this quarantine. Our girls who couldn't go other places and connect with other people have been able to find one another in a new way. So this really is a gift. And if we look at it like a gift, all of a sudden, going back to the idea of fear, our brain begins to respond differently, doesn't it? The idea of that constricted blood flow in the brain and that fight, freeze, or flight response, it changes in our body. And all of a sudden, we have creativity again. We have curiosity again.
That's incredible. Well, so if we're choosing fear or we're choosing faith, then we are the chooser. We are the thinker. So that means the thinker is stronger than the thought, right? If I'm the thinker, then I am stronger than the thought. So even though I have the fear and I have the thought, that's okay. But whatever I choose, I'm choosing. So why would we not? Why would all of us not just choose to think that this has to be for our good? That all things are cultivating and pushing towards our good. I believe that. Even when I can't see it, I know that it's true. Yeah. And it's what I choose. So I would just invite everyone to choose a thought, choose a belief, and choose an action that serves you, even though the fear is normal.
So do you have like a step, like just a first step out of the box? Like if you were sitting down with someone right now and they were saying, Chance, I like what you're saying. This is helpful. But like, if you're going to give me like a first step moment, what would you encourage them to do or say?
That's interesting. For me, everything always, first, second, third step, always comes back to what do I believe in this moment? Yeah. So I would examine my beliefs first and foremost. Secondly, I would dream. A lot of us have not been accustomed to dreaming about the future. And with all this time that we have on our hands, rather than worrying about the future, what if we could sit down and just with our loved one or by ourselves and say, hey, if I could write it any way that I wanted to, 5 years from now, if everything went right, what would life look like? And I would just begin to dream. And the brain loves that. Your subconscious mind loves that. So I would wrap it up in pictures. I'd draw pictures and I'd make some sort of art around it. And I would begin to dream and know that that's just as possible as the world's coming to an end and I'm doomed and all that stuff. So set your mind on the better thing.
Oh my gosh. Say that again, please. That's just as possible, right? I mean,
well, because from this moment, brother, we don't know. What should I do? What's going to happen? How would any of us know? None of us have a crystal ball. But we can obsess on the negative thing happening, or we can obsess, dream, and believe for the better thing. So it really is that idea of taking your thoughts captive. Mm-hmm. Setting your mind on a better thing. As a man thinks, as a woman thinks, so is he, so is she. So, set your mind on the good thing and know that that's just as possible. And I believe that it's even more possible than the bad thing, because everything always is working for your good.
Mm-hmm. The possibility of an amazing outcome is just as real as the possibility that the world's coming to an end. Mm-hmm. And I think our survival nature requires us to consider the worst case scenario.
Of course.
So, if I think about, all the ways that this could conclude, I start to picture all the worst case scenarios so I'm prepared for them if and when they come. And there's probably value in that. I don't think that's a bad thing to do.
Well,
But
and
if
it's automatic, regardless.
yeah,
It's normal.
yeah. But if we stop there and we don't consider all the ways that we can take this and we can leverage it for a new beginning, a new start, it robs us. We're robbed. We miss out on so much beauty, so much possibility.
And check this out. We tell ourselves that we're robbed when the truth is, by our thoughts, we rob ourselves. So we feel like the world is stealing something from us, but the torment and the hardship really occurs by our thinking. And we're the chooser. We're the thinker choosing the thoughts. So again, guys, you get to choose. Something great is around the corner or the end is near. So I invite us all, and this is something I do daily. Not that we're there. We're constantly, bringing ourselves back to what is the better thought? What's the thought that serves me? What's the thought that helps me? Not what feels more true. Who cares what feels true? Do you have a crystal ball? You don't know what the future holds.
No.
So it's a guess. Why not guess the better thing is coming?
One other thought before we go. This idea of writing down what 5 years from now could look like in your story, what that could be. Can you talk for a second about how much courage that requires? Because even as I'm sitting down and thinking, okay, what do I want my next 5 years to be? For me to really say the thing, like I might say, I hope I get that promotion, or I hope that, I can trade up to, a newer model of Hyundai or whatever. Like I could think safely.
Yeah.
But you're talking about something a little bit different, right? You're not just talking about like a couple of steps in a different direction or forward. You're saying,
yeah, I'm saying like dream life as you hope it to be. And I think that the Hyundai is not going to matter. Your happiness is going to matter. Your confidence is going to matter. Your connection is going to matter. When you start really projecting out in front of you and saying, what do I dream life to be? You're probably not going to dream for a certain job title. You're going to dream for a feeling that job title might bring. So there are going to be some very tangible goals, and those are fair. Those are good. And write them down. Dream it. There's nothing wrong with putting that on paper, even if it feels unrealistic for you, because then it sets your mind on something that feels like you, more like you than you feel today. And that's something to hope for, and that's something good. Also, ask yourself, hey, if I got that job, if I got that car, if I had more money, if I had more love, what would that produce in me? How would I be showing up in the world? I'd be more confident. I'd feel more secure. I would feel more connected. I would feel more important, more impactful. Like play with those words. And again, right as you write it down, because your creative mind loves that, you're getting out of your prefrontal cortex where you just want to analyze all the time, and you're setting your mind and your identity towards something that could be. You're rewriting those synapses that want to bring you back to this. The world is ending and we're doomed. You're saying no, good things are ahead. That's how you do it. That's the process.
That's the process. Chance Scoggins, thanks for being with me. I love this conversation. I like talking to you anytime, but this has been fun. So before we go, you had a gift you wanted to give everybody?
I do. I have a gift for you guys. For those of you who have a hard time dreaming, I used to be one of those kinds of people. I love a tool, and I have a tool for you. So there will be a link below, or my email address below, whatever. But contact me. It's called The Next 90 Days, and it's a way to dream. It's just a hand-holding process just to take you from here to here to here to here. And you get to play for all sake, like, you get to play with what life could be. And it'll take you to good places.
Awesome. Well, Chance Scoggins, you are one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm glad for your friendship, and I'm glad we got to share this conversation with some people that I care about too. So
love you
so much. Love you too, man.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
Take care.